They arrive on our screens with a smile. Gracious, polite, the one everyone trusts. They bring casseroles, kind words, and a trademark laugh that fills a room. On day one of a season, the nice housewife gets airtime for warmth, empathy, even moral authority. But reality television is an unforgiving mirror. And sometimes that mirror cracks. This piece tracks the surprising, often painful transformations of women viewers once loved for their gentleness who, season by season, became the story's antagonist. These are the housewives whose turns from nice to villain left audiences stunned, who blurred lines between mistake and malice, and who show how fragile reputation can be when fame and conflict collide. Phaedra Parks. Phaedra arrived on camera wearing a smile and a shotgun's worth of charm. Intelligent, quick with a joke, and unmistakably Southern in Polish, she built a reputation as funny and fair. Early seasons showcased her legal mind and sharp humor. Later seasons showed the other side of reality TV's pressure cooker.
The question at the dinner was, did someone call Candy a lesbian? In order for her to be a lesbian, that would mean she's sleeping only with women, correct? So that, I never said she was a lesbian.
You said that she was sleeping with a woman.
That doesn't mean you're a lesbian. They were extremely close, and
so were y'all.
yeah.
I mean, you and Portia are extremely close.
Right.
But there had to be a reason that you thought it. Had you heard it?
It had been said before. It had definitely been said before.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Her pivot toward villainy didn't hinge on one epic blow-up so much as a betrayal of trust, allegations that she spread a damaging rumor about a fellow castmate. That allegation, a whispered story about someone's health and private life, carried an emotional weight beyond the usual reunion arguments. In viewers' eyes, what made Phaedra's fall painful was the mismatch between her supportive persona and the cruel content of the rumor. When the rumor exploded, the context didn't matter. The betrayal did. People felt the sting because a woman once admired for empathy had allegedly weaponized intimacy. The fallout showed quickly. Cast relationships fractured, fans reevaluated old scenes, and Phaedra's attempts to explain or apologize landed in the complicated region between accountability and defensiveness. The story is a stark reminder that kindness is a fragile credential, and one misstep with another person's pain can undo years of goodwill. Teresa Giudice Teresa's early seasons presented a different kind of nice. She was the big gesturing, full-throttle mother whose life revolved around family and food. She could be loud, yes, but she read as loyal and real, someone viewers wanted at the head of a holiday table. That image made what followed especially jarring: public legal battles and criminal convictions that reframed her entire storyline. When financial crimes entered the narrative, bankruptcy filings, indictments, a widely publicized prison sentence, the tone of the show changed. Suddenly, the reliable mom became the protagonist of legal news cycles.
Housewives of New Jersey stars pled guilty back in March to bank and mortgage fraud, failing to pay taxes and lying to bankruptcy creditors. This afternoon, Teresa Giudice gave an emotional statement in court saying, "I am scared. I'm a wife and a mother. But today, I am humbled. I fully take responsibility for my actions. It's time for me to wake up. I deeply love my family. My 4 daughters are my life."
The fall was less about a single betrayal and more about the dissonance between the hearthside persona and the hard documents filed in courts. Viewers who felt they knew Teresa had to confront records and rulings that didn't line up with kitchen chats and backyard footage. What once read as lovable chaos now carried consequences. Sentence, loss of credibility, and a reshaped public identity that was tougher to reconcile with the woman fans once saw as family. Erika Jayne. Erika's appeal was never just niceness. It was glamour and loyalty. She was the glamorous cohort, the friend who could dress a room and diffuse a fight with a jealous laugh. Early seasons painted her as an alluring presence, stylized, enigmatic, an unapologetic woman whose primary task seemed the maintenance of a persona. Her pivot to villainy emerged not from cattiness, but from the gravity of external allegations, lawsuits and accusations tied to serious financial wrongdoing around her ex-husband's legal and financial troubles. This wasn't an on-camera betrayal, but a legal prism that refracted everything on screen.
Erika Jayne and estranged husband Tom Girardi sued for fraud and embezzlement. E! News confirms Tom Girardi is facing a civil suit over allegations he and others embezzled money from a Boeing 737 airplane crash settlement fund made to Illinois-based plaintiffs who had family members die in an accident. The complaint was filed against the famed lawyer and others by Edelson PC, a nationally recognized plaintiffs firm. Documents reveal Girardi is facing charges of fraud and embezzlement. Jayne is also named in the complaint as Edelson alleges that Girardi embezzled the money in order to continue funding his and Erika's lavish Beverly Hills lifestyles.
Suddenly, viewers who had admired a life of sequins and parties were asked to process claims that went far beyond the reunion couch, claims alleging misuse of funds, deception, and collusion with systems that had real victims. The public shift here was chilling because it forced fans to ask whether a person's televised charm can coexist with unverified but deep and serious legal allegations. Critics argued that glamour had masked accountability, supporters argued for due process, and the show itself was forced into awkward proximity with headlines that had nothing to do with staged arguments and everything to do with alleged harm to real people. Lisa Vanderpump. Lisa arrived as a kind of metropolitan fairy godmother. Immaculate homes, carefully equipped advice, the owner of restaurants, and an enviable lifestyle. She felt like a cultural touchstone, a hostess who taught manners even while doling out gentle shade. The turn toward villainy wasn't about mean-spiritedness in the ballroom, it was about credibility and perceived betrayal after a controversy centered on companion animals exploded into a franchise-level crisis. The so-called Puppygate dust-up, in which questions about the movement of rescue dogs and who knew what spiraled into a major feud, hurt Lisa because it appeared to undercut the empathy she'd built her brand on.
I'm starting to realize this is a Lisa Vanderpump pattern here. Make your friends look bad, but keep your hands clean.
Lisa, you should have protected Dorit, period, end of story.
Oh my God, I have 400 employees. I can't be responsible for everything they do and say.
Yeah, you can't. Vanderpump dogs, baby. Hi, do you recognize this dog? Does this dog look familiar to you?
Fans who had once loved her for kindness to animals and patrons found themselves puzzling over whether a beloved hostess had been complicit in something messy and hurtful. What made the backlash severe was the mismatch between Lisa's philanthropic image and the serious accusations around animal welfare. Even after denials and explanations, the narrative had shifted. The same woman who once taught etiquette was now a focal point for anger and suspicion. Brandi Glanville Brandi didn't start as a paragon of niceness the way others did, but she did embody an accessible, gossip-hungry honesty that many read as refreshing early on. She was the friend who'd tell you harsh truths with a grin, the one who sidestepped pretension and went straight for the throat of hypocrisy. Over time, that edge sharpened into something thinner and less forgiving. Brandi's public estimate of truth morphed into a permanent state of combativeness. Frequent legal fights, explosive public statements, and on-set incidents that produced production-level consequences.
6 months down the road. I can talk you all day long. I just don't want to lose my voice. Because you can just go. Now people are telling me it was, and I'm watching.
I had no idea.
This is the point. I believed you. Listen, you're very good at getting people to believe you.
I know. Thank you so much.
You won an Emmy.
That's really
What do you actually want?
I want to have fun with you again.
Well, then you have to apologize.
Are you going to apologize to me?
Her transformation is a different model of villainy, not a fall from virtue into malice, but a pressure cooker where constant combat eventually consumed relationships, reputation, and professional opportunities. Because Brandi's persona was blunt to begin with, her turn felt like escalation. Fans who once cheered her brutal honesty watched it circle back into self-harm. The more she pushed, the fewer doors opened, and the more the industry labeled her a liability rather than a ratings engine. Kyle Richards, the girl next door who lost her halo. When the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills first premiered, Kyle Richards was the heart of the show, the funny, grounded, relatable mom. She wasn't the loudest or the richest, but she felt real. Fans loved her easy humor, her loyalty to family, and her ability to stay calm while others lost control. In a cast filled with diamonds and drama, Kyle was the voice of reason, the girl next door of Beverly Hills. As seasons went on, viewers noticed a pattern. Kyle often stood in the middle of the drama, but somehow came out clean. Critics accused her of playing both sides, of stirring tension behind the scenes while pretending to be the peacemaker. The woman who once united the group was suddenly seen as dividing it. Her alleged alliances with producers and strategic friendships only fueled that perception. She was no longer the warm-hearted sister holding the show together. She became the puppet master pulling invisible strings.
Talk to him again. What more do you want from me?
When I went out, this is what happens. You never let. You only want to get you want to get your sentences out there. I'm trying to get mine too, and I'm here as your friend. Okay, I'm the only one who has a legitimate
You're not her friend.
Today, Kyle's legacy is complicated. Some still see her as the emotional center of WarTube, while others think she lost touch with what made her likable in the first place. Her transformation wasn't overnight. It was gradual, layered, and painfully human. The girl next door didn't vanish. She just got caught in the bright lights of Beverly Hills, where kindness doesn't always survive the cameras. Lisa Rinna. When Lisa Rinna joined the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she was a breath of fresh air, bubbly, self-deprecating, and completely unfiltered. Fans loved her honesty. She laughed at herself, didn't take things too seriously, and brought a kind of lightness the show desperately needed. Known for her famous lips, quick wit, and willingness to poke fun at the drama, Lisa seemed impossible to dislike.
Come on!
I'm sorry. I have to be honest about it.
Lisa, I have no idea.
Okay,
No one brought
so
it to
but
my
why
attention.
are we worked
and
up
they certainly
about it?
wouldn't. What do you
Erika,
mean?
not
Why
you.
are you all worked up about it? You've been throwing out these weird
What have
freaking
I
things
thrown
all
out?
night.
But in the world of housewives, being open can quickly turn into being overbearing. And that's exactly what happened. Somewhere between speaking her mind and stirring the pot, Rinna's humor began to twist into hostility. Her playful shade evolved into pointed jabs, and her willingness to confront others became almost obsessive. Her feud with Denise Richards marked a turning point. What began as concern for a friend turned into public humiliation. Rinna's relentless questioning about Denise's personal life crossed boundaries, and viewers started to cringe instead of cheer. The woman who once made people laugh was now making them uncomfortable. Then came her conflict with Kathy Hilton. When Lisa accused Kathy of having a meltdown during a cast trip, an outburst that cameras never caught, fans accused her of exaggerating for attention. Kathy denied it, and Rinna's credibility took a massive hit. Many began to see her as the villain of Beverly Hills, a woman so desperate for relevance that she'd sacrifice friendships and reputations just to stay in the spotlight. By the end of her run, Lisa wasn't the funny friend anymore. She was the drama magnet. Every season seemed to orbit around her chaos, and every episode ended with her name in someone's mouth. Once adored for her boldness, she became infamous for crossing the line. Her story is a classic Housewives arc, from beloved entertainer to the lightning rod everyone blames. Lisa Rinna didn't just play the game, she became the game. And in doing so, she lost the warmth that once made fans love her. Dorinda Medley. When Dorinda Medley first joined the Real Housewives of New York City, she was instantly beloved. She wasn't flashy or fake. She was real, funny, and deeply relatable. Known for her quick wit, loyal friendships, and cozy Berkshire's home, Dorinda was the hostess with the mostest. Fans adored her for bringing heart and humor to a cast full of sharp tongues and sharper egos. Dorinda's warmth made her stand out. She was the friend who cooked dinner for everyone, offered tissues when someone cried, and stood up for what she believed in. But as the seasons went on, that same passion began to take a darker turn. Her once playful arguments turned into aggressive rants. Her patience wore thin, and her pain started showing through her words.
Your husband left you, and my husband died. Yes, he did, because people were f***ing around. So don't you dare compare your f***ing marriage to me marrying my husband.
You say to me, oh, it's turning. What's that mean, darling? No, because
Darling, what's that mean? Oh, okay, because you were f***ing around in the south of France. And he married your friend.
The turning point came after the death of her husband, Richard. The grief was raw, and though she tried to stay strong, it began to seep into every part of her life. Her drinking habits became a talking point, and not in a flattering way. The Dorinda who once kept things nice started lashing out at friends during dinner parties, yelling over champagne glasses, and delivering iconic but painful one-liners like "clip" and "I made it nice." What viewers had once seen as strength started to look like bitterness. Her temper became unpredictable. One wrong word, one misunderstood joke, and the night could spiral. The same Berkshire's mansion that used to host warm get-togethers turned into the backdrop of chaos. It's easy to forget that reality TV doesn't just capture personalities, it shapes them. When women join the Real Housewives, they often start out warm, funny, even a little naive. They just want to tell their stories, showcase their lives, and maybe gain a little fame. But over time, something shifts. Fame is heavy. The cameras don't turn off, and neither does the judgment. What starts as confidence can turn into defensiveness. Small mistakes get magnified, friendships get edited into betrayals. Every word is replayed, reinterpreted, and reposted online. The pressure to stay relevant becomes another kind of stress. Housewives who were once loved for being calm or kind start realizing that drama keeps them on screen. Fans expect shade, producers expect explosions, and silence can mean being forgotten. Then there's envy, not just among cast members, but among the audience too. The same woman praised for being real is later criticized for being fake. The more successful she becomes, the harder it is to stay likable. Add to that shifting alliances, betrayal from friends, and the exhaustion of living every emotion publicly. And even the nicest housewife can snap. Sometimes it's not that they became villains, it's that the environment turned them into survivors. The nicest housewives who turned villain teach a complicated lesson about fame. Their arcs are not just storylines, they are case studies in how modern celebrity processes human error. We watch them fall because we are drawn to drama, but we should also remember that behind every edit is a person whose life may be significantly altered. The villain label sells advertising space and fills reunion seats, but it doesn't pay for therapy, legal fees, or the long work of rebuilding a life. We may enjoy the narrative, but if we care about fairness, we should demand context, accountability, and, when possible, real repair.